Hi, it's John from North Star Nursery Garden and Home, your coastal gardener. Sorry, we were having a little technical difficulty with our audio. It's just so much fun doing these things with funny, weird, technical stuff. So, what I wanted to talk to you about, because I did have, sorry, a customer last week who had purchased an anemone from one of our suppliers, and that supplier happened to have on there that it's deer resistant. Well, here's the thing. What I do here for you guys is I only put plants in the deer resistant section that I deem deer resistant. So that's your first kind of umbrella of information. So if you're looking for deer resistant plants, look in our deer resistant section. We will monitor those tags because that is confusing. And so if you see a black outline on some of the descriptor tags, that's probably where deer resistant was listed. So coastal deer kind of work on all deer kind of work on a different program than ours. They certainly don't read books, they don't watch videos, and they don't listen when you yell at them. So, I brought in some deer-resistant plants. But here's the thing. What we're talking about today is not as much plants, but how you handle new plants planted in your landscape. Here's the thing. Much like I'm kind of likening deer to cats because they don't listen. They chew on plants that you don't want them to. And that's it. So what happens with new plants is that deer that have been browsing your garden for years see a new opportunity and they will try it, which to you might look like destroying it, and it is kind of pruned, for lack of a better word. The one benefit to deer versus gophers is that deer just prune the plant, gophers kill it. So, what I have always suggested, and I'm going to drive this home really hard, and I'm not trying to sell product, I'm trying to keep your plants safe. My recommendation is to use liquid fence. This is a ready to use. It stinks. You want to spray it on a non-windy day. You want to spray it on the plant with 24 hours of clear weather, no rain. If there's 24 hours if you have rain within 24 hours, that will cancel it out. So what I do with my plants when I'm introducing even a deer-resistant plant into the garden, you spray it with this. What that does is that teaches the deer that plant is not available. So, there's that. The other thing I wanted to say is kind of over here. These are all the natives. And a lot of these natives are deer resistant. But again, I would, if they're new plants that you've never grown in your garden before, I would consider spraying them. The other thing you have to think about is, in the garden industry, we fertilize plants to get them to a certain stage. That nitrogen can be a detriment because it sweetens the plant. And so a plant that is deer resistant, I'm doing more research on this, and I'm going to do some tests on some other things, but I'm not going to tell you what they are yet. The deer-resistant plant actually has it has an acid in it, and I'm now forgetting the name. But the levels of that are very low in the plant when it's young. Once the plants get chewed on, I know this sounds a little woo-woo, but it's actually factual. There's articles out there. The plant will actually start to increase those acids, which actually make the plant more deer resistant. I know that sounds cuckoo, but it is what it is. So if you are planting, again, anything, whether it's natives, whether I would even spray salvias, because the other thing you have to think of in the spring season, you have all of those fawns running around. They're going to try something all the time. So they're always going to try something. And they might just, like on your ceanothus, they might just nibble the flowers off, which is annoying. So spray them, and that will secure them. The other thing that I do in my landscape is once a month, I spray some of the plants that are problematic for me, like roses and stuff. So I just put that on my calendar, and I spray it once a month. And that seems to keep them at bay. So if you're having a real deer problem, put it on your calendar, repeat it once a month, especially through the growing season. The odd thing is, even this winter, they've been chewing on plants as opposed to all this greenery that's out there, and it's frustrating. So I get it. We're going to swing back over here. The other thing we need to talk about is deer damage during fall when the deer are rutting. When the deer are rutting, the male deer are trying to rub that fur off of their new antlers, so they're trying to get it off. 99% of the time, they choose your brand new fruit tree. I'm not sure if you can see that there is no bark left here, okay? None whatsoever. There's only a ½ inch strip, which is why this tree died. When bark is rubbed off, that is like the circulatory system of your body. So it's delivering moisture, nutrients, everything. So once that happens, it's kind of the kiss of death. If you just have like a 1-inch section or maybe a few inches, basically like 1/4 of it, that's damaged, the tree is probably still salvageable. But at this point, clearly, this plant had better days. It was very sad. In order to correct that, I have purchased these funny little things that get wrapped. I had to bring a small tree because there wasn't enough room on the table. So it sits a little high. But basically what this does is it wraps around your tree trunk. And what that does is makes it unavailable not only to deer, but sometimes people have problems with rabbits chewing on bark, or sometimes you'll have rats chewing on things for the oddest reason. I do not know why. So this would work to protect from rutting. The other thing that works really well, if you have any wire, like it has to be sturdy wire. So not chicken wire because that's too flopsy-mopsy, but something with a smallish grid on it. If you make a ring around this, it doesn't have to be big. It can just be 2 or 3 inches out from the trunk of the tree, just so that they can't get to the trunk to rut on it. So I am going to be doing some testing of things because the acid that I was looking into last night when I was doing research for you guys I want to see if we can find a way to increase it in the plants. So I'm going to do some research on either fertilization that might increase it. It's called oxalates, and it's oxalic acid. So do not go out to the hardware store and buy oxalic acid and water your plants with it because it will kill them. So I'm going to do some tests on a few different things, and I have the perfect location because we're wide open to a state park, and so the deer browse through there all the time. So I will be working on that, and I will get back to you. If you are unsure about deer resistance, or you have a question about a plant, please, by all means, ask one of us, because we have experience with those things, and we have customers who let us know how things work and don't work, and that's why we group things accordingly. So I hope you're doing well. I hope you're sitting, having a lovely cup of coffee, and we will be here all day today. We do have our daffodil sale going on right now. buy 3, get 1 free. That also applies to our soils, buy 3, get 1 free. So we will be here, and we look forward to seeing you at the nursery.